A very good day to you, my precious viewer. Welcome to this video tutorial from Prime World. And in this video tutorial, we are going to be learning how to create a professional PowerPoint presentation for an organization or a company. Okay, and in this case, we are preparing a product demand and sales analysis for an organization that deals with soft drinks. Okay, uh, just to see an overview of what we'll be creating, I have the PDF version of the presentation, and these are the slides that make up the presentation. Okay, for this video we are going to be focusing on creating this first slide, which is the introductory slide. The introductory slide, that's what we are going to be focusing on in this video. So this is the reference, like the work which I have done, and without me wasting much time so that the video is not too long, let's get to it. First things first, you should open your PowerPoint software. Then you go to File, left click on New, choose Blank Presentation, and this new blank presentation comes in. This is where we will be creating our fresh work. Now, first thing we need to do, if you notice, there are two text boxes. Okay, this first one, click to add title and click to add subtitle. We don't need them. Okay, one thing you need to know is that for you to add any text to PowerPoint, you need to insert a text box first. It's not like Microsoft Word where you can just type and the text shows. You need to insert a text box. So we don't need this text box. Now we want to delete them. The first thing we want to do is go to the edge of the text box and left click. To know that you are at the edge of the text box, when you go to the edge, this cross sign shows. Once you left click, these nodes appear, letting you know that you selected the text box. Then on your keyboard, just press delete and it deletes the text box. You do the same for the second slide. Now notice, when I click this, it was blinking inside. Okay, now this is different. Once it's blinking inside, it means we are active inside the text box. But for you to be able to delete it, you need to left click on the edge, okay, such that you are just active on the text box. You are just active on the text box, not inside it. Once you are active on the text box, you can now, comfortably delete it. So the next thing we want to do is looking at the reference. If you look at this image now, okay, designing is all about layer upon layer. So you need to know the first thing to put before the next thing, and it continues that way. So if you look very closely, you see that the first thing we need to place on the blank slide is this man's image. Okay, and I have all the materials, okay, that we'll use for this presentation prepared already. Okay, if you are my student, you already have them in the system you are using. If you are not my student and you are watching this on YouTube or whatever um, um, website or online source you are watching it, just kindly drop a comment below to let me know that you would like to practice the tutorial, and I will send you the copy, okay, or the folder or the zip file where in which all the materials you need to create the presentation will be in. You could drop your email address so that I can just send it to you. So let's just continue. So now let's go to the next thing we need to do is to go to where we can insert the picture. So we go to the insert menu, you can see pictures option, left click on it. So after left clicking on it, I remember I put it in my desktop. Here is product demand and sales analysis. Depending on where it was saved in your system, that's where you go to go and look for it. So wherever this product demand and sales analysis is the folder, that's where you should go to. So left click inside and you will see these images. Oh, I have two of them. Okay, but it's one we are looking for. Okay, this one is 17 kilobytes, is the smaller one. We are looking for the larger one, which is 43 kilobytes. Okay, so it's this one we are looking for. So just left click on it to select it and left click on insert, or you can double click to open it. So having done this, we have inserted it. Now if we look at our reference, notice it's the other way round, so we need to flip it. So let's go back to our work and see how we can flip the image. Now I believe, now make sure the image is selected. You see it is selected now, and you see that this format menu will be active. Okay, now to flip it in a quick way, if I can remember, this rotate, yes, look at this rotate option, left click on the arrow. Okay, then go to flip horizontal. You see this option, flip horizontal, left click on it and look at what it does. It has flipped it. The next thing we want to do is we want to position the image to fit the size of the slide. As you can see, it is smaller than the slide, so we just go to an edge of the node, like this middle one. Okay, now notice what the cursor turned into, a double-headed arrow. Once it turns like that, it means you can adjust it. Left click and drag, then position it. You can see what I have done. Do the same for this place, position it. For this place, just position it a bit, and for here, just position it a bit. So now it perfectly fits the slide. So let's look at our reference and see the next thing we need to do. So looking at this work, the next thing we need to do is to insert these two boxes, these two colored boxes. Okay, that's the next thing we need to do, to insert them. Let's do that quickly. Now we can also go to the insert menu, okay, and go to shapes. Click on the arrow of shapes, choose the one that's called rectangle, left click on it, then left click and drag. Okay, just left click and drag. Okay, now it has inserted something like a blue rectangle. Now we may need to zoom out a bit. Do you know why? Because now let me show you my work, the PowerPoint, the reference, the PowerPoint reference. If I left click on here to my PowerPoint reference, you will see the shape of the square. You can see that it's much bigger than the slide itself, the slide we are working with. Sorry, let me go back. You can see that it overlaps it, but nothing to worry about. It's overlapping the size of the slide. Okay, but look at this slide here, that is the slideshow, this left place here. Look here, you can see it's telling you how to appear when we save it as a PDF or something like that. These excesses will not show. Okay, so don't worry about the excesses, but we need to create it in this kind of manner. So let's go back to the work the one we are creating afresh. Then let's just increase the size of the box a bit. You can zoom up more. You can zoom this place. Like, I don't mean zoom, like move it upwards. Now let's increase it a bit more. Okay, make sure you select the box. Now let's reduce it a bit more. You can see I'm using the node, that two-edged headed arrow showed. Okay, So let's leave it like this for now. We could always adjust it later, but let's just leave it like this for now. So okay, so this is a blue box. The next thing we want to do is to duplicate it, okay, for the second box. Now the shortcut to duplicate is, once you have selected the shape, left click on Control D, okay, Control D, and it will create a copy of that shape. So we just want to place it below like this, okay. Now let's change the color to something similar to this one, which is like orange, okay. So when we left click on that one, we go to the format menu, go to shape fill, and choose this orange one. Let's see, I think this one will be okay. Choose that orange one, okay. Now so we have the, now let's, with this arrow, let's move it downwards. Now you can see that they are overlapping, right? Now what we need to do now is we need to select these two shapes together. That is, we need to select the two of them and possibly merge them, group them rather. So I'm currently selected on this shape. Now hold down your shift key, hold down your shift key on the keyboard, hold it down, and left click on the second shape. You will notice that two of them are now selected, okay. Once that happens, just go inside any of the shapes and right click your mouse. Okay, no, this is not the menu I'm looking for. Let's try that again somewhere else. Right click your mouse. Yes, this is the menu box I'm looking for. So once you right click your mouse, go to this option that says group and left click on group. Now you see that this is now one, is acting like one shape, okay, because we have grouped it. Now please, let's zoom out a bit. Look at this place down here, is for zooming. So let's just zoom it out like 50% or thereabout, okay, or 43%, okay. So after we zoom it like this, take note, look at this handle here, look at this middle place here, look at my cursor. Do you see that rotation thing? It gives us the ability to rotate it to the angle that we want. So that's what we are about to do. So once it shows this round thing, left click and hold and just bend it like this, okay. Bend it like this, then you can move it to the side a bit more like this. Do you see? Now you can see that this place is not neat, it has to overlap. So now don't go until it rotates like this. Go to the node itself, let it show that two-headed arrow, left click and drag it until it overlaps, until this place overlaps. So if you want to have an idea how it will look like when we finish maybe exporting it or saving it as a PDF, look at this slide here. This is how it's going to look like. All these excesses will be cut out, okay. So I believe we've successfully created the two boxes. So let's look at our reference, our PDF reference, and see the next thing we need to do. I believe the next thing we need to do is, well, we could do this one anyway. We could do this one anyway, this one. But I just feel, because it's behind this one, okay. But I just feel we should just go ahead and do this one, okay. We can always place this one behind it after we do it. So let's do this one next. So let's go back to our work. How do we do it? We go to insert and we go to shapes. Now if you looked at the reference well, the kind of, let me go there, the kind of box we have, it has a rounded corner. So it's a rounded rectangle, it's not just a normal rectangle. So we need to look for the shape that is a rounded rectangle. So let's go back, go to insert, shapes. Now look at the one that is like a rounded rectangle, the name is even saying it. So left click there. So come somewhere around here and just drag it, okay, just draw it like this, okay. So now let's adjust the color. Let me zoom in so that you can really see what I'm doing. So let's zoom in to like 85% or even 100%. So now let's begin to adjust the shape. First thing we need to do is, we are already on the format menu because the shape is selected. We need to give it a white outline. So go to shape outline, left click on the arrow, choose white. It has given it a white outline, although it's very thin. So we need to increase the width of the outline. Go back to shape outline, go to width, choose something like 4 or 6. Let's choose 6. You can see the white outline showing now. Okay, let's reduce this a bit, like this. Okay, next thing we need to give it this black red stroke, black, shade. Okay, you can give it only red color if you want, but just to give it a kind of effect, we added this red and black shade. So let's see what we can do about that. So still being active on the shape, go to shape fill. This time go to gradient. Okay, go to gradient. Okay, so after you go to gradient, you can now go to more gradient. When you go to more gradient, this option is going to show up. This is where you can now set the color what you want. It's already on solid fill. Make sure yours is on solid fill. Then left click on this paint option. Okay, wait. No, we should take it to gradient fill, sorry. Please choose gradient fill. Okay, choose gradient fill instead of solid fill. Now make sure this is set to linear. Okay, leave the angle to where it is for now. Okay, what we want to adjust is this place, the gradient stops. Okay, give it the colors that we want. Now for these two here, we don't need them, so just left click on one of them and press delete on your keyboard to delete it. This second one too, press delete on the keyboard to delete it. Now for the first one, we want to change it to red, the color to red. So go and left click on the first one. Okay, just left click on it to be active on it. So go to this color option, click on the arrow and choose red. Okay, you can see the red it has given it. Now go to this node, go to the color option and choose black. Do you see? Very cool, isn't it? So you can see the effect it has given it. Very similar, if not the same effect of as we are looking for. So having done this, you can now close the format shape, the gradient properties bar, something like that. So you can now move it to around here. Let's see how we positioned it in our reference. You can see that we bent it. Okay, so we can now go, okay, and bend it accordingly. Remember how to rotate it. Just rotate it like this. Okay, just move it somewhere like this. Now look at this base here. We have to rotate it so that it it aligns. So just rotate it until it aligns very well. Do you see that? Yes. So we have something like this. Let's see. Yes, quite similar. We can just reduce it a bit more. Reduce it a bit more, like this. Okay. So you can see that we are making progress. So that's um for the box, for the box. But in the meantime, before we continue, please let's save our work. You can even do this before I said it. Okay, go to file, go to save. Okay, now make sure you save it in your whichever folder. For the students, you can save it in your whichever project you fall under, whether it's SS1 project, or whichever class you are. You have to locate it. Okay, so in this case I just want to save mine in the desktop. Okay, so I double click on desktop and I just call it product demand tutorial. You can call your own product demand group 3, group 1, whichever group you fall under. But if you are watching it on YouTube, you can call it whatever you want to call it. Okay, so I press save. So let's continue our work. The next thing we want to do is to insert our logo, the logo of the company. Okay, the logo of the company. Okay, so I believe that should be in the file. Okay, for the students that are watching this tutorial. But for you who is a viewing on YouTube, I could put the file, the this particular logo or another logo for you to use. Okay, but if you have your own logo that you want to use, no problem, you can use it. Okay, so let me see whether the logo is there. Okay, I don't think. Let me check for the logo. Okay, I'm searching for the logo. Yeah, I just saw something like that now. Yes, that's it. So I'm just going to look for where it is located. Okay, in fact I want to copy it to that folder, the product demand and analysis folder, so that you know we can easily have access to it in case I need to provide it to you for use. So I've just copied it here. So the next thing I want to do is go back to my work. Okay, go to insert, go to pictures, and go and look for the logo. The name is pgraph logo. Left click inside and it inserts it. You can see that is a big logo. So I just go to an edge, move to an edge, come here, reduce it. Okay, just reduce it. Just reduce it. Okay, reduce it like this. Okay, so yes, we've just inserted the logo. Okay, okay, if you notice, it has a kind of white shadow around it. So let's see, let's insert that. So left click on the logo under the format menu. Okay, left click on the format menu that shows after you left click on the logo. Okay, then I think, is it shadow or glow? Let's go to picture effects. Yes, it's glow. I believe it's glow. So when you go to glow, let's just pick. Okay, this ones have color. Yes, that's the one we are looking for. This one that has this whitish color. So among the glows here, just look for the one that has the whitish color and left click on it. Okay, so it inserts a glow very similar to the one we did. Let's reduce this a bit. So you can see that we are making progress. You can press Ctrl S to save what you've done so far. Okay, so let's look at our reference. So the next thing we want to insert is this right up here, Prime World Soft Drinks Limited. So let's go back to our work. Remember what I said the other time. We go to insert menu. We need to insert a text box first before we can put text. So I've just left clicked on text box. I left clicked and dragged. Okay, once you left click and drag, it will be blinking inside. You can now write your text, type your text, Prime World Soft Drinks Limited. Okay, Prime World Soft Drinks Limited. Now you can use your mouse to left click and drag it to highlight it. Okay, so that we can put effects on it. Remember that golden rule in Microsoft Word and most of the Office apps. Before you can apply any command or effect or any formatting effect to any text, you must first highlight it. So after highlighting it, make sure you are on the home menu. Okay, then go to this option, this A with a bar. left click on the bar and choose white color. Okay, choose white color to change the text color to white. We can also centralize it, align it centrally. Left click on this one at the middle. You can see that it has aligned it centrally. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is, you can, which other thing, you can make it bold too. Left click on bold to make it look bold. Okay, we could also, it's currently on 18 points. I don't know how many your own is. Your own could be 11 or 18, but this 18 looks kind of big for it. Let's change it to something like 16. 16, let's say 14, 12, okay, 14, let's say 14. Okay, now as you change it to 14, you can left click on the edge of the box. Okay, then go to the edge like this and just reduce it so that to fit. Do you see what happened? Then you can go to the edge. Now we want to move the text box a bit. Go to the edge, left click and drag, and just position it rightly. Okay, so something like this. Yeah, so we are making progress. So let's go to the next thing we need to do. Okay, the next thing we need to do is, we need to insert this product demand and sales analysis. We need to insert this shape. We need to create this shape. Excuse me. So let's go to insert. Let's go to, of course, go to shapes. Go to rounded rectangle. Left click and drag the shape like this. Okay. Like we did for this one, go to shape outline, choose a white one, go to the weight, change it to something like 6, yes. Then the color shape fill, we use something like green, yeah, something like this. Choose this green, left click on it. Okay, now you can see that it's in front of the shape. Now this is what we are going to do. We'll arrange it to be behind the shape. So while this shape is active, right click, right click, this stuff comes up and you can see this option that says send to back. Okay, so just go to this send to back option, left click on send to back. Hey, no, please don't left click on send to back. Let me undo that. Control Z. If we click send to back, it will make the shape the most, that's the last shape. Okay, so it's not send to back we should choose. We should choose send backward. It will send it back once, that is one step backwards. Left click on it, right click again. It has, just keep left clicking on send backward, you see what will happen. It's actually sending it backward. Just continue, send backward. Do you see that? So I left clicked on it 3 times before it finally went back to this shape. Okay, so we have this. So the next thing we want to do is, we want to insert the images, sorry, not the images, the write up. Okay, no, before we insert the write up, look at this shadow effect that the shape has. Look at this shadow effect that the shape has. Let's insert it now. Inner shadow. So let's go back to our work, left click on it, go to format, left click on format, then let's go to shape effects, let's go to shadow. Now look at this one, inner shadow. Yes, see this one here. You know, this one is left, middle, right. This one that is the right, left click on it. Okay, and you can see it has actually inserted a shadow, although it's not very um visible. Okay, so let's go to shape effects, shadow. Let's go to shadow options. Let's see if we can make it more visible. Okay, then go to distance, left click on distance, increase. Yes, that is it. Left click on this distance and increase it. That's how to make the shadow more. Just left click on the distance. That's what we are looking for. You can change it to like 10 points. Let's close it since we have put that effect. The next thing we want to do is put the text. Okay, product demand and sales analysis. Now to make it quick, okay, to make it quick, we don't need to insert text box and start writing again. Since we have already inserted a text, okay, let's just left click this one and duplicate it and adjust it. So make sure you left click the edge of the text box, left click the edge of the text box to select it. Press Ctrl D, okay, you can see it has duplicated it. Go to the edge and left click and drag it to this place, okay. So now left click inside, select everything. You can press, make sure you are left clicked inside and it's blinking inside, okay. Then left click and drag to select everything. Then with your caps lock on, just type product demand and you can press enter. Sales analysis, okay. So let's highlight everything, okay. You can left click and highlight everything like that, okay. That is, left click and drag your mouse to highlight everything, or you can go to the edge, okay, hold down shift on your keyboard and press the up arrow key till it highlights everything. Now we want to increase the size, so let's go to home menu, let's go to the size, font size. You can increase it to something like 20 or 24, let's say 24. Then drag it until it's fitting. You can see that it's fitting. You see that exactly. So drag it until it fits like this. You can now position it, okay. So yeah, we are making progress, okay. So that's for that, okay. Now let's go to the next. um Now the next thing we want to put is this one, okay, this one that says soft drinks, okay. We need to put this transparent shape first, okay. Now how can we do that? We can easily just go to insert, go to shapes, insert, go to shapes and rounded rectangle and you know draw it again. Then we now have to position it, send it backward severally, okay. But we can from this particular shape create that one, okay. So let me from this shape just create that one, because this one has already been sent backward, so we don't need to bother ourselves of sending it backward 3 times again. So let me control D this one, let me duplicate this one, okay. Now let me place it, okay. Well, you know what, I thought it would be behind but it's still in front. So let's undo this, let's just do it the proper way. Go to insert, go to shapes, go to rounded rectangle, just come and drag a shape like this here, like this, okay. Now change the shape fill to red, okay. Now we could even add the transparency. Now let's see shape effects. How do you put transparency again? How do you put transparency again? How do you put transparency again? Because I can't see any transparency option. I'm trying to remember how I put mine. Transparency. How do we put this? How do we put this? I think that's it. Is it this? Let's just left click on that one first. Let's go to format shape. Yes. So you know what? Let's undo. All we need to do is Once you change this to red, right click on it, go to left click on format shape option after you right click. Okay, you see this transparency option there. Increase it to something like 45%. Okay, something like that. Okay, so we have set the transparency. Okay, so yeah, so all we need to do now is move it backward. So right click on it, until this menu shows. Go to send to back, so send backward. Right click again, just like we did, send, left click on send backward. Keep doing it until it goes to the position you want. Send backward, send backward. You can see it has gone. So we need it to go behind this green one. So right click again, send backward. Yes, this is exactly how we want it to be. Now see this curve, that is showing here. It's not supposed to show, it should stretch inside. So just left click and stretch it inside. Yeah. So the next thing we want to do is put the text for soft drinks. Okay, so just left click on this product demand analysis. It's blinking inside, so left click on the edge to be active on it. Control D to duplicate, then left click and drag it here. Okay, now I've left clicked inside. Now I left click and drag to select the text, and with my caps lock on, just type soft drinks. Okay, soft drinks. So we go to soft drinks. Okay, so increase the go to home, increase the size to 40. Okay, increase the size to 40. Okay, so yeah, so that's for that. So finally, I think we are on the last, we are going to the last lap of this. So okay, a presentation on the performance of 4 soft drinks sold between 2017 to 2020. Okay, so let's just finally do this one. So let's just do it normally. Okay, let's not duplicate anything. So left click on, go to insert, left click on the text box. So just drag one here. Okay, so what was the a presentation on the performance? So let's type that first. A, now you can turn off your caps lock. A presentation of the performance of, no, I don't want that to be in capital letter, of 4 soft drinks. Let's see the next one. Sold between 2017 to 2020. Sold between 2017 to 2020. Okay, so let's highlight everything. Okay, change it from 18 to, let's say, 14. You could make it bold if you want. Okay, you can change the color to white, the color to white. So you can choose another color if you want, but between white and black will be okay. You can leave yours to black anyway. Let me just leave it to black in this case. Okay, so I want this off to be up ahead like this. So I press backspace to make it come up. Okay, so I prefer the arrangement like this. So you just position it here. Okay, so yeah, guys, this is basically it. Oh, I believe we are finished. Oh, there's nothing more to add anymore. Yeah. Okay, see, there's something. Look at this shadow on this uh this shape. Look at this, shadow effect there. Let's just quickly add it. But we are virtually done. Okay, we are virtually done with it. So let's click on that shape, go to format, go to shape effects, go to shadow. So let's see which one to add. Let's see this one. See this one that is facing like this, or this one. Okay, this first one. Okay, let's click on it. Let's see, did it do anything? Okay, let's still go back to shadow. Okay, go to shadow options. Since we have already placed one, just go to distance. Okay, so that's how the distance is like. Let's go to the angle. Let's change the angle. I'm increasing the angle to see which, like this angle now, 311. So let's increase the distance again, something like this, just something like this. Okay, so 311, 6 points. Okay, so to give it that shadow, okay, let's reduce the distance a bit to like 4. Okay, yeah, so that's for that. You can cancel this, and voila, we are so done with the introductory slide. This is the one of the most important slides in your presentation, because it gives, is like first impression, like the parlor of your house. So you have to really make it look attractive. So this is it for the first slide. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. It's a bit long, but it's worth it. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video, to produce the next set of